Welcome, Tech4O channel, I'm Michael and I'm recording this video with the new Akaso Brave 6. So yes, a new action camera coming from Akaso. It's meant to be a 4K action camera, yes, we're going to talk about this. And if you believe that the sound is too good to be true, well, it is too good to be true. I'm using an external microphone. No, this action cam does not support any external microphones. We're going to talk about this as well. And actually this is the sound quality as we record it from the internal in the camera microphone. And at the moment I think the scenery demonstrates the best possible lighting conditions, and this is perhaps the optimal look of the image quality. Well, electronic image stabilization, voice commands, bunch of accessories, and what else is packed within these $85? Let's get started. In the past few months, I've tested a number of Akaso models. Most of them were performing pretty well. They seem to be focused on the affordable range, and this one in particular is below the psychological area of $100. You can buy 4 of these at the price of a brand new GoPro Hero 7 Black, so yes, this camera is definitely cheap. I do mention GoPro on purpose, because apparently Akaso are very carefully designing their packages to be as close as possible to the look of a Hero 7 packaging. There is of course no way to make a mistake, because while the color gamma and the size are similar, the design of the camera itself is quite different, so is the price. The more we dig inside the box, the more accessories we will find, and quality is just fine. Oh, there's pre-installed screen protector. Well done, Akaso! Here is the Brave 6 in its full glamour. It is very different to the majority of the action cameras, having different shape, while keeping the more common form factor and a bit of unusual button placement, which is, well, functional in fact. They seem to have moved the side buttons to the top. And based on a couple of weeks of using them, I still cannot decide whether that is convenient or not. Guess it's just fine. On the inside, image is processed by NTK 96660 or a modified version, as it has electronic image stabilization in all the resolutions, and although the camera claims to be 4K, it's certainly not a true 4K, offering 2880 by 2160 pixels, which is around 1000 pixels short on the horizontal axis for being Ultra HD. At least on paper, the processor is nothing great for an action camera, and in fact, a fairly old model, although well known for its good performance. The main concern that I have are the bitrates. 1440p is only 20 megabits. 1080p at 60 frames per second is a bit better, up to 21, and 1080p at 30 frames per second between 12 and 13, which means that shooting in a resolution above Full HD hardly makes any difference in terms of good quality. Also, the sensor used, a Panasonic sensor, contributes to the greater amount of noise, and colors are not as vivid as we would wish for. To the other tech specs, there's of course Wi-Fi, image stabilization, and voice commands. The battery size is 1050 mAh, which is good for less than an hour of shooting, and as usual for Akaso, you get 2 batteries in the assembly. Interesting is the decision about the connectivity ports. There is a door for the battery and the micro SD card on the side, and on the other side for the micro HDMI and the micro USB port. Yes, like many other action cameras, this one offers direct output to an HDMI device and unfortunately no option for an external microphone. Meaning that the sound quality you could expect is something like this. I'm outdoors on a street, not much of traffic, and I'm relatively close to the front microphone. But because there is a micro USB port, like we said, there could be no external microphone attached, so your best option is to get an external recorder and synchronize the audio. By the way, a bit of walking so that you can see how the electronic image stabilization works in low light. Also, to attach it on a tripod, you're gonna have to use the provided in the assembly bracket because there is no mount port on the cam itself. Let's go through the modes. Actually, one of the new things I will be doing, this is the footage as it is taken from the micro HDMI output. There are a few groups of settings. The power button switches between the shooting modes and the settings when pressed momentarily, and the navigation happens with the buttons on the top. Few resolutions are supported. There's image stabilization control. Interestingly, very short increments for time-lapse. We have 100 and 200 milliseconds, which is quite interesting. Very unfortunately, there is zero shutter control and therefore no long exposure possibility, so if you're looking to experiment with night photography, not the best idea. Before pointing to the voice tricks, let's roll some more footage. You can see that most of the footage looks a little underexposed, and having dark footage usually is not attractive for most of the people. Likely, increasing the exposure by one step from the settings is a good idea. You also can control the white balance, the ISO, and the angle of view, and over here we have 4 different modes. In essence, it is software cropping, and it's likely going to result into degradation of the quality. The same effect is also caused by the zoom option. Yeah, there is digital zoom, and if you zoom by 6, it's gonna look rather bad on a high-resolution monitor. So, we mentioned about the exposure. Wide dynamic range? It could have been much better. Sharpness also suffers a bit, likely because of the processor, and overall I can't say I'm pleased with the capabilities of this camera, but of course we shouldn't forget the price range we're staying at. Overall, it feels like yesterday's technology with a good-looking design and some new features, and to underline the connection with the modern trends, there is a smartphone app, which is the well-known Akaso DV app, not too rich in functionality, but at least on my phone, pretty stable. Remote control works good, and the other wireless way to control the camera, the voice commands, they also work fine. The commands are 6 in total, and they may start or stop video recording, take a photo, control the Wi-Fi, or switch off the camera. At the end, is this device any good? Well, yes, for shooting in Full HD, it is a good action camera. However, if you're looking for a true 4K capable device, this definitely is not the best choice. It certainly has the big advantage of image stabilization in 1440p, and I overall hope to see some improvement in the image quality with some of the next firmware updates. That's been the Akaso Brave 6 from many different angles and scenes, and sort of mixed feelings, isn't it? Well, I don't want to put any rating to this camera, so let's discuss together with you in the comments right below this video. I'm looking forward to find out how do you find the Brave 6 as a model. Thank you very much for watching this video. My name is Michael. I'm looking forward to see you again here. And don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!